Hello, my dear clients and friends. Welcome. This is Maggie, and I'm welcoming you to my webinar, the first one of the new year. I'm still in my sparkly New Year and Christmas things because I had to cancel Christmas because of technical difficulties, but welcome. It's so good to be with you again. I think this is going to be a good 2016. I think it's time for us to make a change in the world consciousness. So my predictions, which I did at Miraval over Christmas, I'm going to be doing today so that you can have the benefit of them as well. This is a year of completion. First of all, let me tell you, January the 1st did not used to be the new year. It was March the 1st originally, until Julius Caesar decided that he would change the new year to January and change the calendar from lunar to solar, and it became January 1st, and it was named after Janus, the goddess of his god named Janus, who had two faces. So we look backwards and we look forwards. And the January 1st became the first of the new year. I hope you all had a lovely new year. We had fun at Miraval. I've been going there now for the last 15 years. And I've had 15 new years there. And we have fun. It's been fun for me. And it comes whether we celebrate it or not, but it was a fun time there, and I had a very nice, wonderful food from our chef, with my friends and the staff, and all the friends who come back repeatedly, year after year. So it's a fun time in general. So this is a year of completion. It's a 9-year numerologically. But it's also the year of the red fire monkey in the Chinese zodiac, which starts on the 7th of February. It's more of a joyful year, a year of hope. The red fire monkey is full of hope and joy and lightness, more so than perhaps any of the other signs. If you know your zodiac sign, I'm a rat. So in this year, it seems to be a good year for rats in a monkey year. But to find that out, go onto the website of the zodiac, the Chinese zodiac, and find out which year. I'm born in 1936, so anything from 12 backwards or forwards is a rat. That's all I can say at the moment, because otherwise it gets too complicated. So 9 numerologically is a completion. It's a year to think about where we've been, what we intend to do, what we see for ourselves, letting go of the past, and clearing out the closets of the mind, clearing out the closets of the house as well, thinking of doing things differently as we go into next year, 2017, which is a whole new 9-year cycle, 1 year. So this is really letting go, finding completion in the way in which our lives, which is of course relative to our lives. It's also a year for you to think in a different consciousness. Really, since 2012, the general consciousness of the world has changed. 2012 was the end of the Mayan calendar, and it was a very conscious changing time, a time when those who had to leave the planet left it, and those who are here are the ones that are meant to be here. So the world changed consciously. It was not the end of the world. It was the beginning of a new world in many ways. So everything is coming together really with the zodiac, Chinese or Western, and I think Ayurvedic as well, the Indian astrology, as we go into this year. It will also be a year in which there will be new advances in medicine. I think ALS, which is a horrendous disease, they're going to find something that is going to be the beginning of, if not curing it, ultimately, certainly beginning to find new ways of helping those people who have that horrendous disease. There will also be a new step forward in diabetes. In fact, diabetes could possibly, over the next few years, be completely wiped out as hepatitis C is. There is a cure. I don't know that it's wiped out, but there is now a cure for hep C, which is wonderful. And that, no one thought that would happen. I really think there has already been a cure for cancer, and that started, as Edgar Cayce said many years ago. He was a sleeping prophet in 1936. He really did feel that that cancer would be cured, and that was the start of it then in 1936, which was the year I was born. But Edgar Cayce was a sleeping prophet who could diagnose illness from going into a coma, not a coma, into another dimension, and seeing people in various parts of the world. In case you don't know who he was, Cayce. I also think that there will be advances in Alzheimer's. I think Alzheimer is going to be the beginning of finding that it is environmental, number one. It is also food connected, because food is medicine, and food is toxic. So it really is a time when great medical advances will be made. But you know, the difference between medicine in the country that I grew up in, England, and medicine here is very different. Medicine is business here. And so it takes time for us to find cures in this country when many parts of the world are finding cures already. There will be herbs and plants from various parts of the world that are going to play a big part, because natural healing is going to become even more prevalent, because really people are going to take more responsibility for their health and well-being. And energy medicine, which is much like we teach at Miraval and use to a certain extent there, is also going to be the beginning of us wanting to take responsibility for our health and well-being. And this is something that when I talk about changing world consciousness, I mean it will be a change in our consciousness, because we will begin to think more of taking responsibility for our health and well-being, not just handing it over to a doctor and be given a pill. There are many forms of healing. In fact, I think in Cuba, where one of my son-in-laws is from, Andrew Weil went to Cuba, Dr. Weil is a very well-known alternative doctor, and he found that herbs and medicine were being used in the clinics because they couldn't afford drugs, and they used plants and various other natural things. I think that this is a sort of, I don't know about a revolution, but the beginning. And I'm absolutely delighted that I felt that and saw that. The other thing, one of the other things I saw, talking about seeing, is huge chunks of ice coming off from under the water, which I presume is in the North Pole or Alaska or somewhere, but I don't know where. But it really is, the ice is beginning to melt, and it's going to cause a problem over the next 5 years, I think, in the world. But I think that I'm not very much into climate change because I don't know enough about it. But I do think that the temperature is beginning to change worldwide. And this was just a vision of these huge chunks of ice coming apart. I also think that there will be changes in huge machines that are going to be used, in fact, new machines in radiology that will they will be able to diagnose. This is going to start this year, but it will be over the next 5 years. There are huge new machines that are going to be able to diagnose radiologically long before there's any serious illness. So medicine is there are big advances in medicine, and this is because a lot of research will come together in medicine, in the medical field this year, and that it will be the start of them being able to help people and heal them perhaps in a different way. But I do want you to realize that our responsibility to take care of our health and well-being through food, through exercise, through most of all, thinking perhaps in a different way, changing that hopelessness to hope, feeling that we can do something on a daily basis to help ourselves. If we only do one thing when we wake up that is a positive thing, a joyful thing, instead of a negative each day, we will very gradually begin to change our consciousness. And everything I talk about, because I will be 80 in a few months, I have experienced in my life to a very great, let me say 80% of it. I talk about really what I know. And I do know that we have the power to help ourselves heal. And there are many books now being written about how we can heal ourselves through the mind, because the mind is so powerful. It could cause us to be positive or negative. And so really when I talk about a change in consciousness, I mean that we are going to be changing the way in which we think. I also think research and science are taking a giant step forward over the next 5 years. This all begins to start in this year. Our soul also will regenerate. There's more of a lightness, I think, in 2016 that there wasn't in 2015. I think that this really is a year more of hope in so many areas of our lives. I also think our leaders will come together because of the terrorism that's going on in the world. And by the way, I don't think terrorists are going to necessarily invade this country yet, not by any means. I haven't seen that. I think we've got enough people in the country to cause problems as it is. So, but I think that we have to be aware, not live in a state of fear. We have to be aware of everything that's going on around us. And that is really what is going to be very important this year. There will be more upsets in schools and also in, I think, government buildings. But mostly it is not terrorists. It feels to me as though it's the inhabitants of this country. But one of the things that I think that I really want to make sure that you are doing for yourself is not live in fear. The media puts out enough fearful things because the social media, the media in general, is rather negative in many ways. And they will go on and on and on. And that goes into our consciousness. And we have the ability to overcome that fearfulness if we just get on with our daily life, think about what we're going to do that day, and think of it and put the intention positively, we will overcome the fearfulness. There will be some big drama in the government, and I think that there could be that is assassinated in this country, but I think it's more. I'm not sure that that's this year, because when I receive these messages, I'm never sure about the timing, but I think that there will be a big change in someone in power. I think it's a man, and I don't necessarily think it's the president, whoever the next president will be. This is a transitional period, though, and we are going from harshness and fear that is going to dissolve into more of a positive attitude within all of us, and that's the greatest thing I think that can help to save this country. I think that, look, I'm looking at my notes because I did write everything down, because it comes through me, and I write it down, and then I look to see if I have told you everything that you need to know, because then you get everything I've heard. Instead of military power, we're going to become more of a diplomatic power. So I think because of this change in the leaders of the world, where they're all going to come together in a more cohesive way, we're going to become more of a diplomatic power. And we will drive towards selflessness, and spirituality will begin to gather speed too, which is wonderful. So all of this, I think, is starting more in the first quarter of this year. The other thing is, which is interesting to me, is young people will emerge as leaders, and I mean really young people. The young girl who got the Nobel Peace Prize was only 17. That's a young woman who is all for educating girls. I really forget which country she comes from, but she's a remarkable young woman, but she's 17 years old. And that, I think, is going to be more prevalent. The young people who are actually, even more so, the very young people came onto the planet in order to be the leaders in the world in the future. Young leaders, very young. There will be tremendous advances in artificial intelligence too. The funny thing is, I've really only discovered what artificial intelligence is in the last year, and I understand that it is to do with the computer world and the robots and so on. I think there's tremendous advances in that. I've always said for many years now that we'll end up eating pills and pressing buttons and having robots to wait on us. I said that when I was very young. If any of you have read George Orwell, he also, and Ray Bradbury, they all predicted that we would be there would be people walking around with antennas sticking out of their head. And we are. They're actually sticking in their ears now. I mean, you rarely see someone without an iPhone or a smartphone or whatever they're called, and earplugs in. So I think that artificial intelligence is really going to make giant steps forward. Well, Mark Zuckerberg, you know, the Facebook young man, he wants to have a robot that is going to be his butler, and I'm sure it will be. I'm sure he'll come out with something like that. So this is the beginning, really. When I look back on the many years I've lived, and there were certainly no computers and there was no television when I grew up in England. I started with a telephone in a small village, and we had a party line, and that was it. And now I have seen the coming of age of television, of computers. The first television I saw was the Queen's coronation in 1952. I think I've said this over the years that I do these talks, but really it's quite phenomenal to me. The first computers I saw were when John, my first husband, and I were visiting Cape Canaveral, as it was then, and we had a VIP tour by the mayor, and he said all of these of Cape Canaveral, and they showed us a huge room filled with computers, huge computers, and he said these are now all obsolete. And now we're down to a tiny little thing that we can hold in our hand. It's quite remarkable when one thinks back. And I think we do need to look back, because we learn and grow from looking back to where we've come from and where we are going to. There will be cures for more diseases than I'm talking about, but those were the only ones that came to me. And also, just let me look here. Oh, okay. Gratitude, appreciation, and that means gratitude for what we have, because it begets more, and appreciation for what we have, and love and energy that we put out, that we receive back. So it has to be positive energy. Those are the things that are going to help save this planet. Mother Mary wrote a book thousands of years ago, and Brad Steiger rewrote it in 1970 something, and she said that the planet would destruct, or begin to destruct, but love and energy and gratitude would save the planet. And I really think that is very true. I think that we all need to put out love. It's very simple. If you can put out the energy of love and light into people, that you instead of worry, you put love and light into someone that you need to put to help. For instance, my family is all over the world. I have one daughter here, and the rest of the family are elsewhere. But when I think of them, instead of worrying about them, my mother used to love to worry. She said she liked worrying, but I do not. So when I think about them, I put white light around them. I see it coming in the top of their head and whirling all around them down to their feet, and then coming back up and out. And that is an energy. That is love, but it's also light, which is going to be very important in the world, because we need light. I mean, we're lucky in California that we have the amazing light that we do here. But if you can substitute worry and fear for love and light in your mind, in your consciousness, if you can replace stress with love, and I mean that what you do is put your hand on your third eye, put the heel of your hand on your third eye, close your eyes, and change the negative thought of fear into a positive thought of love. Now you can replace it from fear to joy. You see the word joy, or you see the word love. It changes the energy in the chakra system, which are the 7 healing chakra centers of the body, from the crown of the head to the bottom of the feet. And so if you can do this, on a daily basis, you help yourself, you help your loved ones, because you're not spending so much time worrying about them. So Mother Mary was right in that respect, I think, because if you could put out love and light, you're going to help yourself, you're going to help the people around you, and you're going to put that energy that out into the world, because it is an energy. Fear is an energy. We are what we think, we are what we speak, and where we put the intention grows. I think that's all the predictions. Just let me, the stock market will grow. Oh, that was another thing I was going to say to you, is about gold. If you have gold, hang on to it, because it's going to go up and down rather crazily this year, but don't sell it, keep it, because I think next year it will come back again. Now, there is an economist I was listening to the other day. I don't necessarily agree with a lot of economists and people I listen to, but I was meant to hear this, that if gold goes to $13.50 an ounce, it will shoot up. So I'm just giving you that information because I heard it. But basically, gold is going to have rather a roller coaster ride, so hold on to it. I think the stock market will do reasonably well until August. Then it will go down towards the end of the year. Then it will come up again, I think, in January or February. But this is all that comes through me. I know plenty about gold because I own quite a lot of it, but I don't know too much about the stock market except psychically. So if you can perhaps listen to that and use it in your lives, then I think you could certainly benefit. Banks will be very manipulative. Well, since when weren't they? But they will manipulate the world economy, and they will be powerful, and they are going to cause, problems to a great extent still this year with housing and mortgages. I think 2017 housing and mortgages will become easier, very much easier. I think there will be another big scandal somewhere with banks somewhere around May or June. But I teach, or try to teach, that we stay in our own space and we make our life the best that it can be on a daily basis. Because we literally only have today. We only have the now. We really don't know what's going to happen in the next year, but we don't even know what's going to happen in the next day. We only know what we are doing now. So if we can jointly think of in a more positive attitude in our daily life, just within our space, if we can put out positivity, energy, and intention, that each one in our own space, our own life, will make life very much easier for us. There will be, I think, a turnaround in illness and dis-ease, because I do think that if we can change the mind power, we're going to change the body. And that makes a big difference. If you realize that thought is energy, and that if we're going to think negatively, our body responds to it. And I certainly know that, and myself, and I think if you think about it yourselves, you will also come to that conclusion. Just let me look at this, and then I'm going to go into the numerology. Oh, the other thing that is going to happen also, more energy is going to be put into cleaning water. And that means that they will find, I think, a way of cleaning salt water, ocean water. Because water, I think, ultimately, countries will go to war over water. People think it's oil. No, I think it's going to be water. But, you know, that's just the message I'm receiving. Oil is a big thing at the moment, and I think it's going to cause some problems. But I think that later on, when they have found a way to clean water, which they're going to start, they may well have found it already, that they will begin, that will change the world powers as well. I think that is all of the predictions, but yeah. Well, the good thing is in the red fire monkey year, large deals, amazing events, metals will play a big part, and metals means not only gold but silver, and any metal that we have. I think metal is going to play a big part, like copper and platinum, but gold and silver will go up and down a bit. So hang on to it, and let's see what happens with it. Now, I'm going to try to tell you how to get your personal numerological year, and then I will tell you what each year means. So you add together your day and month. And in my case, it's 4/27. So that's 4 and 7 is 11. That's a 2. 1 minute. I always do it the wrong way around. I really have to see it. 9 and 7 is 16. And 4. God, I can't believe this. Okay. My day and month comes to a 13/4. So I'm just writing it down. 4 and 2 is 6, and 7 is 13. I'm sorry, my brain gets a bit weird at times with numbers. So 4 and 2 is 6, and 7 is 13. 3 and 1 is 4. That's my day and month. So if you're writing this down, do that. And then add that to a 9 year, which is the universal year. And 9 and 4 is 13 for me. You add the month and day to the universal year of 9, and you reduce it to a single number. So in my case, it's a 4, the day and month, added to a 9, and 9 and 4 is 13. So I am in a 4 year. So I think I've given you enough time to do that, but if not, I'm just going to forge ahead because we don't have too much time, and I'm going to go through the years. So if you are in a 1 year, it's a new beginning. You're sowing a new seed. You're letting go of the old and you're embracing the new. I like to suggest to people in a 1 year that they take a seedling or a seed, plant it in a pot and watch it grow. Nurture it, nourish it, and watch it grow. That's synonymous. It's synonymous with your year of growth, a 1 year. 2 year is a year in which you will do things in twos. It can also be a very intuitive year, meaning that if you listen to your gut reaction, you will get quite a lot of information. I call it intuition. And you will do the things in twos, but it's also a family sort of oriented year. Maybe some difficulties with a member of the family, but that, of course, would be relative to your life. And then 3. A 3 year is a very busy year. It's a year when everyone, in a 3 year, you will get people from various life people, new people in your life, people that you haven't seen perhaps for a number of years of your life, new things are learned, and new energies are around you. It's a very interesting year of 3 because it's really quite busy, and of course relative as each of these numbers are to your life. Then a 4 year, which is the year I will be going into, is a year of study, a year when a year of contemplation, a year to think of new things, new studies. Actually, it's very good year to gain a new knowledge. Now, in my 4 year, I'm going to India. I'm going to have my 80th birthday in India with one of my dear daughters, Catherine, and possibly other people. But if not, I'm certainly going, and I will be telling you about that when I return. But so I'm going, and possibly will gain a new knowledge there. But 4 is really an introspective year, a year for sort of pulling things in, staying in your own space. Then 5 is freedom. Freedom is freedom, travel, new countries, different countries, people from other countries. I love a 5 year. And so it's a year of change. And when I mention the word change, very often people will, squirm. But we have to change in order to grow. But it is a year of change. It's a wonderful year. And then as we go into the next year, the 6, it's a year of music, harmony, love, family, real estate, good time to buy real estate, sell real estate, children, pets, and food and entertaining. It's a very social year. And once again, everything is relative to our lives. And then a 7 is a spiritual year, a year in which we tune into the inner part of ourselves. We tune into our mind, body, soul connection. A good time to come to a place like Miraval, where we teach mind, body, soul connection. But it is a year of the spiritual part of us, or the introspective part, but it's also a year mostly for taking care of the health too. It can also be the health of someone close to you, and it can also mean that someone passes on, and I use the word can, it means they can pass on in that particular period, but it's really a spiritual thinking year, a year to think differently than we perhaps usually do in our daily lives. Then 8 is a financial year, a year where, relatively speaking, perhaps we have more money, or we have our finances grow. We can perhaps have it, even if it's a little more money, or it could be a year in which you win money. It comes, in other words, your finances grow relative to your life, but it can also be sudden money that comes into your life. It could also be to do with insurances and home, but it can also mean that if you do gamble and if you buy a lottery ticket, you might very well win. I didn't buy a lottery ticket today, coming to think of it. It's huge. It's like 450 million today, I think. So I'll go and get one afterwards. But that is it's very energetic year. And then 9, we're back to completion, which is what we're in now, the universal year. But if you are in a personal 9 year, it's a year of letting go, not going on in the same way that you have done for many, many years, perhaps, well, for the last 8 years. Letting go, thinking of where you're going, completion in a number of areas of your life. So these years, the numbers work, and they really do. And that's why I brought out my numerology candles, which you may or may not have seen on my website. Each numerology candle is connected to a number, and each of them have wonderful smells, beautiful perfumes. They are essential oils, natural essential oils, soybean wax, and a natural wick in a lovely packaging. And you use that in the energy of your home. And you can buy a candle from any number in your birthday. And also the stones that I have would be very good to purchase this year, because it's like a whole new beginning for us all. But go onto my website, look at my stones, and of course, you all know my book came out this year, the story of my journey. And I've had a remarkable life, and it's all recorded in that book. It's all there on my website, but mostly the energy of the candles I want you to pay attention to this year because of the numerology that I've just given you. The other thing I wanted to say about numerology, we're now in January. So if you are, if your birthday is after September of last year, you think about adding your day and month to last 8 year. So you would add it to, and then as you go to your birthday, for instance, if you are September or October, when you get to September or October of this year, you would be in the year. Until I go to my birthday in April, I'm not yet in the 4, I'm still in the 3. I hope I haven't confused you, but anyway, you can go on to wonderful numerology sites and work it out. Glynis McCann's Glynis Has Your Number is a wonderful numerology site. So go and look at it. You can also go onto my site where we tell you how to add it up. I'm not sure as New Year's, but day and month added to the universal year, which is 9. So that's good. And then there is a question that I'm always being asked. Someone has asked it yet again. How do I know, or when did I know that I was psychic? Well, strangely enough, I never really knew I was psychic, because my grandmother was a psychic. So I grew up in a very normal household. I probably was rather a strange child, but I had my first vision when I was 4. And so I've heard voices all my life. I've seen visions all my life. I don't know when it really started. I just know that I am me and what I do. But I can tell you that if you all take time to listen to your intuition, and you listen to how you feel more than how you think, you will begin to feel and hear your intuitive side, your spiritual side. All of us have the ability to use a psychic side, but everyone uses the gifts that they have when they come onto it in the appropriate way, the way in which they're meant to. I would more than one gift, which I will tell you about in another of my talks. But mostly, I think that I am just me. I don't know how to be other than I am. So I just feel very fortunate. And I come from a place of gratitude every day. Truly, I sit every day and I'm very grateful for what I have, because it begets more. So I'm very grateful that I can do what I do, that I can be of help. I think psychic is a title, so yes, I'm a psychic. But I really am me, as you are all you, wonderful human beings. We all have more potential than we allow ourselves to use. I can't say that about me because I've used, I think, my potential to the utmost because, as I've already said, I've had a remarkable journey. Ever have thought that I would have the journey that I have. So I want you all to look at yours perhaps in a different way than you've been doing and realize the wonderful potential that you all have, that you have within you. Only you will think a little differently, more positively, and put your intention where you want it to grow positively for you. I would like you to, at times, send in questions that you would like me to answer. Later on, we're going to maybe have a two-way question time. But in the meantime, I just, if you want to ask a question or you have a subject that you would like me to talk about, then please write in, because I would be very happy to do that. I'm known to like talking, but there's plenty of things I can talk about, but I would also like to talk about what it is that you would like to hear about. All right? Now, I would like us to spend a little time in visualization. I would like you all to just relax, sit quietly, comfortably in your chair or the sofa, wherever you are. Please sit. Just be still. Close your eyes. Feel the energy coming through the top of your head, through your body. Relax every part of your body. From the head, shoulders, arms, thighs, legs, feet. You feel that energy flowing down your body. And then take a huge deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And imagine you're in a huge crystal cave. The cave is rose quartz crystal, which is pink, glistening crystal, stalactites hanging from the ceiling, music playing, beautiful perfume of flowers filling the air, and water tinkling over crystal rocks. And coming towards you is an angel, an angelic being. The angel gently takes you by the hand and in water to sit on a bench at the running water. And you sit quietly there, and she asks you to make a wish. I am going to give you a moment to make the wish. But just before you start, send love and light and energy to the wonderful people who fight for us in various parts of the world, who are there every day in dire conditions, fighting for our safety. And then make a wish for yourself, for your loved one, for someone else. And I'm going to give you a moment to do that. And after you've made the wish, the angel gently takes you by the hand, and you're back in your room, sitting quietly, and you feel a wonderful energy that comes, a silver thread of energy that comes through the top of the head, all the way down through the body, and helps you to relax. And I'm going to ask an angelic being to come in. I'm going to give you an angel guide to help you on your journey of life, to help you in times of stress. Someone that you can talk to and speak to when you need help. You're going to feel a gentle presence down the back of the neck, down the spine. That is an angelic being, your angel guide, who will be with you on the journey of life. Someone that you can help, that can help you. Someone that you will talk to, and someone that will hear. I send you my love and light as you go into the world, as you go through this. Remember the words that have come through me. Lots of love, light, and God bless you all. Thank you so much for being with me.